I like your pipes to nowhere.
Yeah.
Although it's not really nowhere, it's a big room.
And again, this area here is quite large. And I have these dotted around the map. And again, really hard to see from up top. Throw a
Yeah,
little bush in front of it and a couple of
hidden
rocks.
in the rocks. And
Found to be some cave examples in the mountain.
which map was this?
This is Dragon.
I remember Dragon. We were having lots of fun jumping.
Yeah, over the
We were
Dragon's Mouth.
jumping cars off the dragon's head and for the fun
This
of it.
this was actually pre underground tunnels, but I built this one through right through the middle of the map so people could drive under the mountains. And there you see another one of my little pipe bunkers. I didn't put nearly as many caves on this one as I did Amerisca.
Hmm. Yeah, but you do have some big, like, monstrous, hidey holes all over the mountain.
Yeah, this would be another. And you're walking through terrain triggers. Every area underground. If it's not surrounded by a terrain trigger, your people will die. And this is one of my smaller caves here.
Cam nuclear small caves are still pretty huge, so
Well, that one wasn't. This one is.
most of your caves are like ginormous.
Yeah, I know. It's a guy thing.
He likes big caves and he cannot lie.
That's right. I'm a cockroach. So, if you're going to build this type of cave, here's one. I wonder if that's yeah, that's going to be a fully custom, no pipe bunker there, and another one under it. But yeah, let's say you wanted to build one. I got to find an area that doesn't freaking have one. I normally start with the alpha because that's the thing that's going to throw you off the most is trying to get that little alpha spot. If your alpha is there, that means you can place the terrain trigger in the exact same spot and everything works out because there is kind of a grid system going on. So I get the brush alpha down to one and I pop my little hole. That doesn't do anything. You cannot pass through there. You can only see through it until you get that famous little terrain trigger.
I always misspell terrain. I always put the I before the A.
And you use this no environment. You have two of them here. One will have everything you go into is dark, and that's this normal one on the top. And the other one is this no environment. That means it stays light there. Fairly new option. I wish they'd had it when I was. I don't see a volume for that.
It's
Looks it went way the hell back there.
maybe hidden.
No. All right, I wouldn't recommend using that because you can't freaking see it. See, here, this guy. I see it. I know exactly where it is. Now, this trigger has to break the plane, but you don't want it to stick out too far because anywhere you step, whether there's alpha or dirt or rock, whatever, they'll step right through as long as it's just terrain. They cannot step through any rocks that I place there. All right.
Yeah, if you step through it and you don't have something underneath you to like fall onto.
Yeah. Favorite rock again? You'll remember him from previous episodes, I'm sure.
A built-in rock like that has its own collider built in, correct?
Correct. So they would be able to walk on that and pass through the terrain right here. But you also have to do all this inside area as well and try not to poke anywhere through the terrain. You will stick, the trigger through. Best thing to do is cover it with a rock. It's unavoidable. It's going to stick through somewhere. You cannot put a square cube in a cave that has rounded edges without something sticking out somewhere. Pain in the ass.
Pretty much.
So yeah, the rest is, just like I showed you before about how to make a cave. You take that sucker, duplicate it, flip it around, do whatever you want with it. Build your cave. But
If your pieces are completely inside and under the terrain, you can use just regular low cliffs and that on the inside as
yeah,
long as the wall is facing out or
like
facing into the room
like this.
in a medium at least.
So that would absolutely work as a wall. Because, obviously you want to tighten these areas up. I'm doing a very sloppy job, but, it's just for educational purposes.
For sure.
And you fill that inside area with the terrain trigger as well. Anywhere that's going to be through the terrain that you want them to move around.
Yes.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
And there's no sphere; it's only a cube for
Only
the.
a cube.
Gotcha.
So as you can see, part of it stuck through. That's going to happen. You just take the good old something like that. So now they can't fall through. And of course, you would go inside and make sure you didn't just block off your cave and all that good stuff. But that's how you stop people from falling through the inevitable points where the terrain trigger is going to stick through. And let's say I missed a spot. I made this just a little too high. Oh, looks like I got duplicates, don't I? So it's just off the ground. That's enough to kill them. That right there. Anyone who stepped there would die. So
Tiny
you,
widow.
hey,
Hello.
hello. So yeah, you got to make sure your terrain trigger is going all the way down and enclosing all of your inside area and not poking out like that. Uh. People would fall through that and land either on your wall or, maybe even in your cave, but most likely in the water and died. So really need to avoid those. Spawn points was something I needed to touch on. So far, I've only really shown you how to spawn using topology, but there is a prefab. There is always a prefab.
Somewhere.
Spawn point. It shows up as this little blue dot. You want to keep it above the terrain because a lot of times if it's sitting like this, people will spawn and fall through. Doesn't happen all the time, but it happens far too often. And even sometimes when you have it up this high or even a bit higher, you can still fall through. And this was happening to Los this week, and he found the clever solution of just parking a foundation under that sucker, and it works fine. So if your spawn point is having any problems and you're falling through the terrain, just find a little foundation. That's obviously the wrong one because you're going to fall right through that, but you would just place that right under your spawn point and that'll take care of you falling through and dying. Any questions? This is always going to be more of a question and answer than a showing shit because we've gone through this for 2 weeks already. I'm running out of things to say. Any questions at all, please?
So, as far as like teleportation, is that more on the plug-in side, or is that
That,
something that you can control in the map making side?
that is 100% plug-in. To my knowledge, there is no teleportation module. Let's see. No, nothing under teleport. So they haven't
Probably
added
got
it.
a stupid name if it does.
I know. Something like, Mouse Burger Cheese Factory.
That is an unusual name.
So yeah, teleportation is strictly, yeah. I'm sorry, my brain just does weird things when I'm tired. Anybody, come on, come on.
Build a giant mountain.
Build a giant mountain. Well, you want a giant mountain?
I
I'll
want
give
to
you a
see
giant
a
mountain.
big giant mountain built. Is there an easy way?
There is a prefab mountain.
Really?
I swear.
just want to point out we have a celebrity in our midst. Hi, Widow.
She left, I guess.
Really? Ah,
She was here?
she was.
She was for a few minutes. She'll have to go back and review the older stuff.
Okay, I guess I was using too small of a brush.
Just raise.
Yeah, raising lower. And if it's not raising fast enough, change the opacity higher. If it's changing too fast, put the opacity lower. And yeah, you can put the brush all the way to 500.
Then you can smooth it off. Okay.
Just slowly build it up for, best control and best results. And then afterwards, always give it a good smooth. But I could already warn you, this would not be a good hill. It's already way too steep. Nobody can climb that. Of course,
That
you
would
could.
be great for sledding down, though.
Oh, God, yeah. And a good place for putting cliffs.
Can you touch on like custom underwater labs a little bit? Like with some of the larger ones, or is that just one of the prefab monuments?
Uh, you can build them yourself, but it's a royal pain. What I like to do is put a flat spot somewhere, near where I'm going to be putting it. Just say I was going to put it over here by these ice cubes. I would just put a little flat spot anywhere around here. And then I would build it on land and then save it as a prefab so it doesn't fall apart. Turn off the water and bring it over here and place it wherever you want to. But yeah, there are, prefabs.
They have individual modules.
Okay, so you can like piece it together.
Yep. The tunnels, everything, the doors. It's all there. Even the underwater advanced crate spawners. But they are a pain in the ass to build. There's no sockets. There's no real easy way to line them up. It is a lot of eyeballing and small adjustments.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
They do have like 4 pre-made ones that you can just plop down, and so you can have like multiples right in one spot if you wanted to.
And you can always modify the ones that they've done,
Which would probably be easier to use one of theirs to start with and then make your own, make it personal.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
No problem. I'm trying to find where they are, but
They were more towards the top. Underwater lab A, B, C, D, D.
no, those are showing as individual units.
Where that's where. Oh. Must be wrong. They might actually have them in the monuments section.
It's a possibility, isn't it?
Type monument. underwater lab. Still the same.
So yeah, it's kind of worth it if you do build something, save it to your prefabs so you don't have to build it again and again and again and again.
Right.
Thing for one purpose, and sometimes you find another purpose for it.
Yep. Yeah, my best advice is go through those that prefab that I shared from, I think it was Lone who put that out, and just have a look, see all the different pieces and parts, and go on that map I shared as well, and have a look at the bigger picture, what's available, and use your imagination. Look at this part and that part, and go, if I put those two together, that would look pretty cool. If any of you have ever played Minecraft or anything like that, the I/O handles and the concrete cubes, God, you're going to have fun with that. Just building with cubes. So if you have a talent for that, you can go crazy with those. And the I/O handles are really nice because they're self-lighting in various different colors.
Uh, yeah, very little.
Yeah, I've
Another
never really played.
question would be like taking some of like the monument prefabs. Can you like edit them or change the look of them, and then them, for
You
example?
you can add things to them and save it, as your own version of that monument. It won't overwrite the game file at all. It will save as a completely different monument under your customs.
But the internals workings as far as puzzles and loot rooms, all that should still stay the same if you're just trying to change the look of it a little bit, you think?
Correct.
Okay.
I think you can also take the. I think there's It's like there are pieces of like the gas station. I know
Yeah, some do have
some
some
have
parts of it broken out, like different storage tanks but yeah, you
take
can't.
and build it from. You can build one from scratch, but because they have all the pieces, it's just finding all the right pieces is not always gonna be easy.
Royal pain in the butt.
I don't know where it's at.
This is that automatic door opener. Can't remember what the door itself is called. Come on, people. We need questions. I should have assigned homework. There'll be a quiz on this later.
Yeah, right. Trying. What was this stuff that I?
No, the underwater labs have the water trigger built in. So you don't have to add a water trigger or anything like that. If you put them under the terrain, you would have to then go with alpha and all that crap.
And if you did like a custom prefab under the water, you would still need a water trigger as well, correct? So there would not
A
be water
custom one,
inside of it.
correct. Absolutely. Unless you used parts of the underwater lab, because, if you built it out of those things, like I
Oh,
said,
right.
built
It
in.
has it, yeah, built in.
And of course, what I always like to do is,
Oh yeah, and should teach them how to rate a prefab both ways.
uh, how to break one, you said?
Rate it.
How to rate it?
Create.
Oh, create. I did that last week, didn't I?
into detail. You just,
Okay.
I don't think you even showed them how to like make certain selections and stuff.
All right. Start with one of my favorites here. The humble pillar of wood. Let's say you want to make a bridge. There's a good start. Put a little underground. Copy it. Select them both. Copy it. And select them again. And this time, we're going to do that. And now what am I doing? Now, see, I didn't want it to do that. I wanted them to get longer, but it did that because I did not change it to local. That's going to bite everybody in the butt one point or another. Trust me. Now we're going to have to reshape this guy, but first, Control D, get a little copy of that sucker. And that's not a very good looking board for a bridge. So we, of course, want to reshape that sucker. Now, I like to at least add a little bit of variety and offset the board so it doesn't look absolutely perfect.
You can also rotate them in their spot and
Yeah,
have it a little bit different.
but nobody wants to do that individually for every board. So at a certain point, I do select everybody. And I'm doing that by holding the control button. Oh, forgot to copy. Duh. Control D, copy. Well, duplicate actually. What do you think? 4 more planks?
Probably 5.
I should have listened to
6.
you. Be quiet time. All right, so now you
Put
built
a
a
river
bridge.
underneath it. Put a
Well,
river
no,
underneath.
no, I don't
Oh,
want to. I don't
Why?
want to. That's not what I was going to do with it. Leave me alone. All right, so you built a bridge, but obviously it looks stupid here, so you're going to want to put it where you need it. Select the whole thing, go to your prefab list and go quick create from selection here at the very bottom. And we'll just give it a quick name of bridge. Convert the selection to a group and save the prefab. So now, if I click on it, it's one item. So now you get your little river going. Where did I put that sucker? There it is.
Yeah, things vanish at a distance.
Yeah. And there you have a lovely disappearing bridge. Before you save the map, you have to select the prefab and this red line at the bottom, break prefab, click on it. You have to, or it will not save as anything the game is going to be able to read. So that lovely bridge would not be there at all. You have to break the prefab. I know it sounds strange, but there you go. Of course, you know, I did save it.
It's under your custom for
Yeah.
bridge. It's at the bottom.
And there's our bridge. We can just pull it out and use it as often as we want to. Any questions?
You should go through the other one and create custom, like, create a copy of the terrain too.
I've never really used that too much because it just leads to so many freaking problems, but yeah, might as well show it.
I mean, that's one of the easiest ways to make it like an island. It's just create, or like create a. That's pretty cool.
I make stamps for islands.
Yeah.
But let's say you've got this little rock formation, you really like it. You want to save it as a prefab. This time you go quick create or create custom prefab. So not the bottom, but just above it. Now this one gives you a whole slew of options, like save the terrain heights that it's on, save the splat map that you use, you save the biome, the topology, the alpha. So if you put a cave in there, a custom cave is hidden in there, you want to save that alpha map. If there's a road that drives up this, yeah, you'd want to save that road. Not really possible to do that, but I know. And then of course, the lovely convert selection to groups so that you can move it around as one freaking unit. And it would also, again, show up in your custom prefabs as whatever you decided to name it.
The diameter is what encompasses the prefab that you want to save.
Yeah, that determines how much, of the terrain is going to be copied, is the diameter.
The fade is just kind of like how it fades
Yeah.
into.
It gives it like a softer edge so it doesn't just have a harsh cutoff where you placed it.
Knock out the competition in League of Legends.
That's pretty much all
Is-
there really
Is
is
this
to
thing
it. Like,
on? Is this thing on?
that's pretty much all that there is to create a like
Total custom prefab.
total custom where you actually want to keep terrain or like
Everything.
I said, roads, rivers, alphas.
Well, maybe you made a snowy mountain with an arid topology for some reason. You want people to sweat on your, snowy mountain. You could save that here.
Yep.
Have a total custom, call it sweaty sled run. I don't know.
Can you create your own like custom puzzle rooms and
Oh,
such?
absolutely.
And how does like the electricity work kind of
It
as far as
doesn't.
from the map? It doesn't at all on the.
Not on the server running now. Half of the stuff we try electrical just doesn't transfer over for some freaking reason.
Yeah, IO just doesn't work from Rust Edit. It just doesn't.
But they would be found when you want to collect or connect things. Let's see.
So like if I wanted to do like some sort of street light or something like that, that'd be like an IO, but you said it doesn't work really.
A lot of
Some-
street lights, there are some that come pre-lit, so you
Yeah.
can actually do that. Let's say you got your smart switch here. If it can be connected to electrical, it'll say at the bottom here of the transfer tool, connect output, output to, and connect IO. So these would be the output connections. If it can be connected, this is where you do it. So if I had a battery here, do it.
But you said just for some reason in the translation of it, the circuits don't seem to work correctly.
Exactly.
Yeah, the connections seem to just disappear in the process.
So yeah, I've got the switch here, connect output to. It draws a line. I click it to there. It says, what do you want to collect it to? Power in. They're now connected. And that's it. That's electrical. It's that easy. It's harder to find the right item that has the damn connections than it is to do the connections. And if you're going to put a map up for sale, there's no problem building a puzzle into it. It's not your fault if their server can't handle it. Some can, some can't. But they are selling points if you ever wanted to, sell maps or even sell custom prefabs. A nice custom puzzle, those sell pretty nice.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of like different ways to do some like puzzles or like something interactive. I know it doesn't seem like there's like a lot of animations as far as traps or like things you can really do. It's very limited as far as what
Yeah,
we
it
can
is.
do in the editor.
Well,
Actually,
actually,
seems
I
like.
made a trap on one map called Skull Island. Basically, you walked into a room, and when you walked in, the floor was actually a double wood door. But you trip a motion sensor, and that tripped a door switch, and the doors opened, and you dropped into a pit. It worked beautifully.
That's cool.
That could be fun.
Oh yeah.
Especially if the doors will close after
Oh, they
before
do.
they drop in.
They do because he dies and he stops setting off the motion sensor, doesn't he? Or he moves away from where he fell if you allow that option. I didn't.
That was a custom prefab you did.
Yeah. And it was literally just laying a door down on its flat on its back after I made all the connections. I could have made the connections afterwards too, but I made the connections, laid the door flat, jumped into the map to try it, and screamed like a little girl when it worked. Don't tell nobody.
We don't have to.
I know it's all going on YouTube. Yay. Well, I'd like to announce to the world my name is Butch Wellington.
My paintball
Okay.
is.
Yeah. Is oddly not Butch Wellington. Yeah. All right. Any more questions? Anything?
Trying to think if there's anything else that we need to cover.
Yeah, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Well, that's cool. We'll skip a week or two of these sessions, and then after you guys have played with the editor for a while, I'm sure you'll have some questions, and we can do another session then if you want. Always an
Sorry,
option.
Cool.
Step away for a sec.
Oh, I was just discussing that I won't do any sessions for another week or two or three, and let you guys play with the editor, and by then you'll have your own questions to come up with, and we'll do another session then.
Cool. Appreciate your time.
Sounds
Not a
good.
problem. Always happy to help. If you guys, have any questions in the meantime, I'm a message away anyway. So, no biggie. All right. Who invited their parents to the meeting? All right, guys. Well, I guess I'll wrap this up then. It's been a pleasure.